everybody, welcome back to City Sewers. Today, my helper Nathan here and I are going to make his favorite kind of bread, which is a wheat sandwich bread. Yep. So, we have had several requests asking on how we make a wheat sandwich bread. So that is what we're going to do today. I have laid out everything that we're going to need except for our hot water, which will go in this. So pretend this has hot water in it. Ooh. Okay. But otherwise, we're going to need wheat flour, salt, oil, honey, and this is a dry active yeast that I buy in bulk, so that's why it's in a snap top. I have never actually done this before with a wild caught yeast, so I don't have any experience or any advice on how to do that specifically. I only have experience using the dry yeast at this point. So while the yeast is technically active, I still will do the whole proofing process because it kind of gives it a jump start, especially with wheat bread. It takes a long time to rise. So we do still do the proofing process, get it kind of kick-started, and it will take a little less time in the rising process. I will have the entire recipe written out in the description of this video, so if you need written directions, if you're one of those people who learns better through just reading the directions, that's there for you. But we're also going to be going through it all in a step-by-step process. So, I have actually gone and put our warm water in here. You want the water to be somewhere between 105 and 110 degrees because too much hotter than that and it's going to kill your yeast. So we've got our warm water. We're going to put it in our mixing bowl. Hey, can we please get a whisk out for me because I forgot. Okay, so we've got 2.5 cups of water and we're going to open our flour. We're going to put 2 cups of flour into our bowl. Nathan, I will get the first cup out just to loosen this up. And then would you like to get the second one?
Yeah.
I just broke my measuring cup.
You what, Joe? What?
Awesome.
Awesome. So, 4 of these.
So that just happened. The handle just broke off my measuring cup, but hey, the measuring cup still works. There's one.
Do the best with what you have.
That's right. All right. The unexpected can happen. All right, now you want that to be kind of level. Not packed, just level. Okay, so you've got 2 cups of flour. Now we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of our dry active yeast. So I'll do the 1, you do the half. And again, we want it nice and level, so kind of shake it off. There we go. Now, let's cap this so nothing splashes in. Now we're going to whisk this until it's smooth. So it's basically going to kind of look like a thin pancake batter at this point. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set a timer and leave this alone for 15 minutes. Alright, Nathan, it is 15 minutes later. How does our batter look?
Bready.
Looks a little bubbly, a little poofier. Alright, time to start mixing.
Oh, look, I fixed it.
Alright, so now we're going to add kind of like the rest of our ingredients. We're going to add our salt, our honey, our oil, and then we're going to add the rest of our flour as well, and then we're going to put it in the mixer and get it going.
Yeah.
We're going to add actually equal parts of oil and honey. So what I like to do is put the oil first, and then you kind of have your measuring cup greased and the honey will slide out easier. I'm using grapeseed oil because it's a nice neutral oil. It doesn't have a strong flavor and it does the job pretty well. So 1/3 cup.
1/3 of
And we're going to do 1/3 cup of honey as well. Sticky lid.
Sticky.
All right. right, Nathan, do you want to put this one in?
Sure.
Stop. Okay, you got it? Alright. And then just kind of angle it up, and all that oil is going to help that slide right out.
Is that why you do the oil first?
Whoops. Yes, it is. And I was trying to put the oil cap on the honey.
Smart.
I'll be twisting that all day. Now we're going to add 2.5 teaspoons of salt. I have it just in a bowl right now because I have a bulk bag of salt. And this will be easier to scoop it out of. So 2.5. So 2 of these 1 teaspoons and 1 of these half teaspoons. Okay, all done? Measuring cup, please. Now we're going to do 4 cups of flour. Okay, so now we'll put it on our mixer. And we're going to put a dough hook on the mixer. Alright, and low speed.
So stir.
Yep. There it goes. And we're gonna let this mix for like 6 or 7 minutes. And if you need to add extra flour, then you add it in 1 tablespoon at a time if it's sticking to the sides of the bowl. So it looks like we may need to add a little bit. But only 1 tablespoon at a time. You do not want to add too much flour. Okay, so I didn't even add a whole tablespoon to this. I added maybe half a tablespoon, and that just loosened it up enough to pull it off the sides of the bowl. Now we're just going to let it keep mixing for a little while. You can mix this by hand. It would be a hand kneading for about 10 minutes, or 6 or 7 by mixer. Okay, so the timer went off.
Looks nice.
Bread is nice. And we're gonna take it out and shape it into loaves.
Yeah!
We're gonna spread some flour out on a work surface. Okay. Okay. Now, it is straight wheat, so it is a little dense. It is a little bit sticky, so I'm just kind of lightly covering it in some flour just so it doesn't stick to my hands. Okay. Now, we're going to cut it. Estimate about half. Okay. Now, I'm not kneading it because it's already been worked. I'm just shaping it into a loaf. Brush off some of the excess flour so it's not too dusty. And just put it in a greased loaf pan.
It's misshapen.
Okay, so we want to just kind of shape it. Now, you can shape it however you like. I prefer just fairly loaf shaped and just drop it in here. Now these loaves have to rise for an hour in a warm place. My oven has a proof mode on it, so I'm going to do that so that it is a warm place. And I'm going to check it a little bit more frequently. It's the first time I'm making this bread with the proof mode on it. So I'll be checking it regularly, but it should take about an hour to rise. Careful. Look at that. Well, the proofing function on the oven certainly did take down some of our rising time. We are now looking at perfectly frozen loaves, We are now looking at perfectly risen loaves that only took about 40 minutes instead of a full hour. So they're looking great. If you have that proofing mode, bread proof, on your oven, I highly recommend it. It is wonderful every single time I use it. Now we're going to actually preheat our oven to bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll put Celsius down at the bottom of the screen because I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm not that good yet. So now we will preheat our oven, let these just sit out and leave them alone, and then we will put them in as soon as the oven is done preheating. All right, now our oven is preheated and we're gonna put these beautiful loaves in the oven. Right, now that the bread is in the oven, it's going to bake for 30 minutes. If you need to check it and rotate it halfway through, you can. I have not had to do that before, but if it's needed, then you can rotate it. But it's going to take 30 minutes in the oven. Finito. Finito. Okay. You ready, sir?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Oh, those look glorious.
Do they look glorious?
Yes.
Oh, they sure are pretty. Okay. Get a load of that action. Now these are going to cool for about 5 minutes or so, and then I will take them out of the loaf pans to finish cooling outside the pans, because they will sweat in that glass and then you end up with soggy bottom bread, which is no good. So we'll check back in 5 minutes. Okay, so now it's been 5 minutes that these have been cooling. So what we're gonna do is I actually have this cookie cooling rack, but the problem is that the feet on this are so short that I actually can't put this on the counter because I end up with the same problem as if I left them in the pan. The bottom will sweat because it's so close to the countertop. So what I do is I actually put my cooling rack on top of my stove, and that allows for air circulation all the way around the loaf. So let's move those over. Set up our cooling rack. All right. Nathan, do you think you can handle it?
I don't know. How do I do it?
Here, I'll show you the first one, then you can do the second one. Okay. Going to just tip it over, give it a slight little jiggle, and it should just fall right out into your hand. And then just place it on the cooling rack. Okay? Careful, not over the floor.
I feel like I'm gonna drop
Careful.
the glass.
Here. There you go. Very nice.
Felt like I was gonna drop it.
You're fine, dude. It was excellent. Good job.
Thanks.
Now, we're gonna let these loaves cool for a little while, and then we'll cut one open and show you the inside, and maybe you can, eat it. Quality test. All right. Our bread is still very slightly warm, but it's cool enough for us to run a test. Now, my little trick is that I like to cut it upside down because the bottom of the loaf is nice and flat. It can help you keep your lines a little straighter when you're free cutting. All right, Nathan. There's the inside of our bread. Nice and airy. A little bit dense, but wheat bread tends to be slightly dense anyway, but it's got lots of nice little air pockets in there, so it is light for a wheat bread. All right, Nathan. You want some butter for that, or do you just want to go right for it?
I don't know. First, I'll try it regular.
All right, just go for it. Good stuff?
Yeah.
To have the kids' seal of approval? All right. Most excellent. While he works on that, that is how we make our sandwich style wheat bread recipe. Let us know down in the comments how it turned out for you guys. Feel free to ask any questions. I will do my best to answer them. But as always, this is your urban nerd with a goat herd and a helper telling you that you can grow where you're planted.